Welcome back
God.
to another installment of your favorite podcast. Almost.
I didn't even attempt to try to beat you. I think I give up.
Good.
I'll never do the intros.
Accept the defeat. It's alright, you do the outros. Intros are my thing.
The outro sucks. It's boring.
Yeah, but you remember all of the things to say, and I do not.
I hate it.
Well, you know what?
What?
I don't know.
I was just going to say, do you know?
This is all I have to bring to the table. It's my funny intros. Let me fucking have it.
That's not true. Your episodes are fantastic.
You're right, I'm hilarious. I'm just kidding. I tried to be modest for a second, but...
At least you try. God.
I didn't need that second shot.
Also, these are doubles.
Whoop!
Whoop.
There it is.
No.
Dope.
Dope.
All right.
We're also video recording this for the Patreon, so if you really want to see what's happening...
We're drinking out of our leg cups again.
The leg cups.
And I'm in my work attire because I just worked today.
I also worked, but I
Back
got
on
up
that
at 3.
full-time bullshit, so...
No, thank you.
It sucks. So I've been doing a lot of my research on the clock.
Same.
Using my Microsoft Word at
Microsoft
work.
Word.
It makes it a lot easier to type up my shit.
Dude, for real. Okay. I think we got, like, nothing.
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 Yeah, literally nothing. No one had anything to say about Casey Anthony.
No. Most of our episodes are on YouTube now, which is where people have the most to say.
Dude. People
comments.
have no time and all of the audacity on YouTube.
Like, what are you we got a manifesto on our Amanda Knox.
Literally.
If you want to go look and check it out.
It was a blog post
If you
under
wanna-
a fucking YouTube.
She agreed with nothing we said.
Absolutely
So
nothing.
if you want the other side of the coin, go read the comments on the Amanda Knox YouTube video.
Mm-hmm.
If you think Amanda Knox is guilty. Because
You
this
and-
woman also does.
Yeah, you guys will become quick friends.
Talk about it. Message each other.
Mm-hmm. Don't message us.
Please don't. We believe what we believe about the Amanda Knox.
You can't change me.
You can't change me.
Molly Bloom tweeted us.
Oh, Molly Bloom liked
she liked it.
our
You're right.
tweet about the Molly Bloom episode.
I know. Ashley Kosenka called me at work, like from her office. She called my office. And she was like, oh my God, Molly Bloom liked your guys' tweet.
The
I'm
Molly
like, yes.
Bloom.
Yes, she
With
did.
a link to the episode and everything.
Yep. So hopefully she listened to it.
You know, she might be a fan.
She's so hot, I want her to adopt me. But, like, also
Dude.
maybe date me? I'm not sure.
Something.
I have a lot of feelings towards her, and I need to work through them and
She is beautiful
compartmentalize.
and everything I want to be.
Everything I want to be. Oh, my God. I just...
So if you haven't listened to the Molly Bloom episode, you should.
need to.
Because
I was very
She
nervous
liked
about
it.
that one because I was, you don't know how things are going to land.
it's not, it's just a crime. It's not
Kosenka
what
loved it.
people-
And I was
that's
like,
crazy.
oh, you know what? I
My
was
friend
nervous.
Sam messaged me too. She's like, if you had any doubts, don't.
Yeah,
Because I
she was like,
cannot
no, it was
wait.
so interesting. She
So
listened to
exciting.
part 1 and immediately came in and was like, why is part 2 not on the Patreon yet?
I had
like,
to
listen.
vote.
Listen, it's going to be there. Don't worry.
I wonder if
So
there
she
is.
listened
I
to it.
haven't looked too much into it. Patreon doesn't. I can't schedule it, so I have to wake up and do it right in the morning. But I wonder if there is a way, and I just don't know where it is. Because I can schedule YouTube. I don't know. I'll have to look into it.
Not sure. People always ask me questions like how we do certain things. I'm like, I have no idea. Madison does it.
I have no idea.
I'm like, I really am just along for the ride. She's the brains behind it.
I
Someone
feel
was
like
like,
I'm
well,
the
how do you
brains.
how do you, like, upload it? Like, how did you even start? I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't know.
I can't
I'm
tell
just
you.
here
You just show
and I
up
talk.
and you steal the show, then you leave.
The beauty.
I am the brains, and you are the face of this operation.
Your face is a lot better than mine. We should think about switching roles.
If you're watching this Patreon video, you are absolutely disagreeing. I just don't try anymore for work. I don't. And I
What
work...
part of this is trying? I have mascara on.
You have mascara and your hair looks nice.
I straightened my hair. It's because it was very clean. I couldn't let it go.
That's true.
I washed it.
Speaking of Sam, we always talk about how we have, like, mostly girl listeners. Sam's boyfriend, Michael, listens all the time. And he was so
Hell
excited
yes.
when we shouted out Sam that I feel like I have to shout out Michael.
Shouts out. I've never met him, I don't think.
He's so nice. He's a pro golfer.
Teach me how to golf, because
Dude, his lessons are crazy.
my cousin, my sister, and I swear next year, like next summer, I'm going to spend time golfing. That's what I want to do.
That.
Because think about it. You get to get drunk while you do it, and there's zero cardio.
No cardio. Golf carts from
My
spot to spot.
My kind of sport. Like, that's, I swear, once spring hits and it gets decent out, once a week, I've never once golfed aside from putt-putt, and even that I'm terrible.
I used to go
So
to
I'm
the
like,
driving range.
Never.
It's
I know
fun.
nothing about golf.
We should ask Sam and Michael if they want to go Top Golf
Yes.
for fun, and then we can, Michael, if you're listening, we're going to then get you drunk and rope you into discounted lessons.
Absolutely, because we're poor. So.
Look out for that. Okay. We can get it.
There's your shouts out.
It's been 6.5 minutes. I'll put in the description that this show starts at 6.5 minutes.
All right.
Here we go.
So, we gave you some light topics.
We did.
So I'm like,
you
all
lucked
right.
out with Molly Bloom.
You really did.
Casey Anthony still wasn't that bad because you didn't know what happened.
There was no gore. There was no. So I'm like, you know what? Let's really fuck this shit up.
Taryn said, let's ruin everyone's day.
Everybody's.
That's the election. Bad. Day after the election,
You're
let's
right.
make it worse.
Yes. So I keep forgetting this is going to come out
The day after
the election. That's all I'm going to say. Nothing, I'm not going to. We all know how we feel,
Yeah.
and that's that. Okay. Last night, I was finishing my research, and I literally had a stomach ache. I'm like, this is so sick. I'm going to have nightmares when I go to bed.
Hurts. You texted me.
I'm like, oh my God, my stomach hurts. I'm going to throw up. All right, so I am covering Ed Gein. Is that how you would pronounce it? Gein?
I say Ed Gein.
Gein. Oh, I guess that makes more sense. Gein would be an A.
Also,
Ed
I have
Gein.
to stop drinking this. I dropped my straw. This leg is really long. And my straw is really short, so I have to just...
Do you want to share?
No, it's okay. I mean, we already did. That's my straw.
With your teeth marks in it.
Yeah. Okay, so Ed Gein, anyway.
Ed Gein. At the end, I will tie into how pop culture and everything, and how you know a little about him, whether you realize you do or not. Okay. So,
Yes.
Ed Gein was born on August 27th, 1906 in La Crosse, Wisconsin. His parents were George and Augusta Gein.
Ooh.
George, his father, was an alcoholic.
Cool.
And his mother was, like, total other end. She was fanatically religious. So, like...
It's odd how this works out.
Doesn't seem as though that would be a match made in heaven.
No. No.
Which I don't think it was.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes
Augusta
sense.
was the sole provider for the family. She operated a small grocery store.
What?
Because George had trouble holding down a steady job. I
Oh, yeah.
assume because he was an alcoholic. He wasn't of the functioning alcoholic
No.
types.
There's nothing functioning about it.
No.
You know how pissed you would be if you were back in those days?
And
You had to work?
seriously.
The only appeal of the olden days is that you didn't have to work.
Seriously. But you had to have
Sexism,
fucking
misogyny.
kids, and
Oh,
you
you're
had to
right.
do all that shit.
No, still not
I
into
would
it.
literally rather go to work.
You're right.
I'm not
You
gonna
have a kid and you...
And I prefer work. I had to stay home for a little. I prefer work. People say that they think Augusta just hated George.
That's so great.
But they stayed married because she was this super religious woman, and they don't believe in divorce.
Oh, yeah, no.
So
You're not getting to the pearly gates.
No, if you divorce your husband, absolutely not.
What a shame. I can't wait for my first divorce.
I can't say that.
You
in case my
can't say
husband
that
listens.
because you're married. I'm not.
But yesterday I did tell my sister that I think I'm going to make my next husband not white. I'm really going to spice things up in my life.
If he ain't foreign, he's boring.
I have never. Did
Never?
you make that up?
No.
Oh my God, I can't. I'm going to say that at work tomorrow like I made it up.
You have my full permission.
Thank
I
you.
won't tell anyone that I got it from someone else and you got it from me.
If he ain't foreign, he's born.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. So where did I put this in my notes? Ed had an older brother, Henry.
Okay.
I don't know why I didn't. Oh, it's right there.
You just didn't get there yet.
So it was 4 of them in the household.
Okay.
So Ed and his brother were taught, what you think a super fanatic religious person would teach,
Yeah.
Sex is bad.
Yeah. Hell.
Hell. You do it, you're going to hell. Girls, the devil. Don't
Yes.
look at them. Don't think about them. Don't talk to them.
Don't.
Don't look them in the eye.
Don't.
They're witches.
They're witches.
Every single one of them.
All of them.
They have powers. So around 1915, Augusta moved the family to a farm outside of Plainfield, Wisconsin.
This is that old? 1915?
Yeah.
I did not realize this case was this old.
Well, the case itself
Yeah,
isn't,
but
but
still, I didn't know.
yeah,
I mean,
it was.
when you put it in that perspective.
I know. So
1915.
I had to do some digging because there's not a lot back then. People didn't post it all on Facebook after it
Oh,
happened.
no, they didn't.
No. They didn't even tweet it. So Ed was kind of a loner and he was shy, and so after they moved to the farm, he hardly ventured off besides to go to school. Mm-hmm. He did make good grades. I'm convinced this kid had some type of Asperger's.
Ooh.
Or was on the spectrum. Just from what I'm reading. His mannerisms and stuff is what made him weird, and it just kind of made people feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So I'm like, he was probably just a little off. But also, his dad was an alcoholic and his mom was crazy. So
crazy.
there's that. So since he was kind of a loner and he was weird, he got bullied a lot. And then anytime he would try to make friends, his mom would punish him.
Okay.
And his brother. Because they just didn't want outsiders coming into their lives, pretty much.
What the fuck?
So really the only person he had was his brother, Henry. Yeah. Both boys were abused by their mom regularly.
Yeah, I bet.
And they tried so hard to impress her because, their dad obviously wasn't anything special at that point. He's not contributing at all to their lives.
No, he don't even know your name, honey. He's not concerned with your day-to-day
Right.
actions.
And their mom was just so mad and, angry. They just wanted to make her happy, but it was impossible. And she was just convinced they were going to turn out just like their father.
How lovely.
Right. So on April 1st, 1940, at the age of 66, George Gein, Ed's father, died of heart failure caused by his alcoholism.
I was going to say, if this
Alcoholism.
Alcoholism.
That's what I almost said.
I wish you would have. I was going to say, if this dude doesn't die of something alcohol-related, I'm never stopping drinking.
I'm still not going to.
No, me either. But if you could live your whole life as a non-functioning alcoholic and still just die of a heart disease. But it was caused by the alcohol.
He made it to 66.
Blame it on the alcohol. Maybe that's what Jamie Foxx was talking about.
Maybe that's it. Whatever. Blame it on the goose, got you feeling loose. Patron got shit in the zone. Is that the words? Or are those just the words I sing? They might not be correct.
No, I think those are the words.
Yeah, Patron
Got you in the zone. I don't know.
That's what I'm going with.
I'm not changing it anyway.
So, after George died, that left a lot on Ed and Henry's shoulders to support themselves and their mom.
Right.
And after his father died, Ed grew very, very close to his mother.
Yeah.
Some say it was not normal.
Not a normal amount of close.
No, not at all. So Ed and Henry both kind of became handymen. They worked local jobs to try to maintain an income.
Nice.
Ed even occasionally babysat and found that he had an easier time connecting with children than he did with adults.
Okay.
Again, this is why I diagnosed him as having
Yeah.
Asperger's. A neighbor, Wilma Booth, said that Ed would help her with barn chores and he would watch her 1-year-old son. Her husband, I believe it said he had passed away or he left, and she was also pregnant.
Oh,
so
okay.
He helped her out a lot. She said he was quiet and he was a little strange, but he was always doing nice things for her and he was good to her son.
Yeah.
Like he was weird, but he wasn't terrible.
Right.
So at this time, Henry is starting to, like, be more in the world. He's working. He's around other people. Mm-hmm. And it kind of opened his eyes to, like, the way our lives are is not quite correct.
We don't have to live like this.
No.
Because nobody else does.
I'm not going to go to hell the second I kiss a girl.
No.
Kind of thing. And he could see that he didn't agree with a lot of what his mom thought.
Good for him.
And then he was also like, it's a little weird, Ed and Mom's relationship. Like, this is starting to be odd.
It's like, everything about this is just fucking weird.
Yeah, it makes me a little uncomfortable.
Not into it.
So then he would talk bad about their mom in front of Ed just to, like, rile him up.
Okay.
Because
he knew he would get mad about it.
Yeah, and, like, Ed is a complete mama's boy at this point.
Yeah.
So on May 16th, 1944, there was a brush fire on the Geins farm, and Ed and Henry both went out to help stop it, extinguish it, see what they could do. Ed says that they went out there, the smoke was really thick, and they quickly got separated, and they couldn't see him.
Okay.
So Ed comes out of the fire, and Henry's not out, so he goes to the police, and he reports that his brother is disappeared into the flames, the smoke, whatever. So they held a search party to go out and look for him. Mm-hmm. They end up finding Henry's body.
Oh, shit.
But it wasn't, like, burned. Oh. Like, it didn't really have signs of, like, he burned to death.
Yeah.
But there was bruising on his head.
What?
But despite that, because of the situation, he disappeared while they were going out to fight a fire and, like, where he was found and everything. The county coroner still ruled the cause of death to be asphyxiation.
Oh.
So it says police were always suspicious that Ed had done something and caused Henry to die, but no charges were ever filed.
Wow.
Like, this seems like it could be messy, so.
They're like, we'd rather just not.
It's very easy to say that he ran into a fire and just
small
come
family
out.
problem. Want no part of it. That's crazy. I don't know if I remember that. Maybe I don't remember.
I didn't know a lot of this stuff. Like, I know little
some
bits.
Of the weirder, grosser stuff, but not. Wow. Huh.
I know. I learned a lot. Learned me a lot.
Can't wait.
So after Henry died, it was just Ed and Augusta, his mom. So, he just loved her even more. It's just the two of them. But after suffering numerous strokes, Augusta died on December 29th, 1945.
Jesus.
So that's only a little over a year after Henry died.
Oh my God.
So Ed's going through it.
Yeah, he'd be going through some things.
Yeah.
Multiple strokes. That's insane.
So you can't imagine that towards the end she was really...
No.
There wasn't a lot of detail, but, like...
I'm sure.
You imagine she wasn't
For
of
months
sound
leading
mind
up to that
and...
couldn't have been good.
Right. So after his mom died, Ed boarded up the rooms that had belonged to her.
Okay.
And they say it was kind of like shrine-like. Like, he left everything untouched. It was like his mom was going to come back any day and...
Okay. Yeah. He was leaving it out for her.
Yeah. And then he lived just, like, in a small room next to the kitchen. And they said that the rest of the house pretty much fell apart and looked like it belonged on an episode of Hoarders.
What?
So, like, those rooms that Augusta had used were...
pristine.
Untouched.
As they were.
The rest of the house, shambles.
Oh my God.
So, that's where things start to get a little weird.
Yeah, I bet. This cannot lead to anything good.
So, Ed just gets really weird. Like, his interests just really take a turn.
Okay.
They're not great.
Okay.
So he started reading about cults, and he got really interested in, like, medical encyclopedias. He would read a lot of horror novels. He started to really be interested in porn. And not only porn, he liked to learn a lot about the anatomy of women.
No, I don't like it.
And he even started researching cannibalism.
What?
These things just all began to pique his interest.
Oh, yeah. I don't... Some of these things alone... Okay,
Weird.
not that concerning.
Right.
All of these things...
I look up cult
together.
information every once in a while.
All the time.
Even women's anatomy every once in a while.
Every once in a while.
Like, oh, okay, that's
You've
what's going on.
got to do the work. But all of this together is very concerning.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care for it.
Correct. So before Augusta had died, Ed stayed around the farm. He was kind of a recluse. He didn't go out a lot except to, like, work.
Yeah.
And after she died, he started going into town, and he even started going to a local, they call it a tavern. It's a bar. I just don't really like the word tavern.
No, not a fan.
So I'm going to call it a bar.
Okay.
Frequently. And around the same time that Ed started coming around, people in the town started to disappear.
Oh.
But I feel like just back in those days, I don't know, people would run off, people would hitchhike.
So you
it
can't
wasn't
tell someone you're like,
Yeah,
left, I'm
exactly.
gone. They
Right.
just leave and then that's that.
So one woman that happened to go missing was Mary Hogan, who owned a local bar that Ed had begun to frequent.
Oh.
So at the bar that she owned, she lived in a room that was in the back.
Okay.
On December 9th, 1954, a neighbor went into the bar to get some ice cream and noticed that Mary wasn't there and there was blood on the floor.
Cool.
And then he's like, okay, everything looks a little sketchy in here.
Yeah.
This
I don't care for this.
is out of the norm. So he immediately called the police.
Good.
So police come and they take a look around and they said it's clear that it was most likely a murder. Mm-hmm. They found a .32 caliber cartridge on the ground. And someone had gone through the cash box, and then they found, like, a couple dollar bills, like, some stuff had been thrown around. It was just something shady fucking happened.
Something happened.
Neighbors said that Mary was so, like, cautious of strangers. She kept the door locked, like, throughout the day, and she would just let people in.
Whoa.
My kind of girl.
Yeah.
Same.
That's amazing.
You guys have to unlock the door for me to come in.
We locked the door
at 4
immediately.
So they said that the last person they knew to have visited the bar was a beer salesman. Mm-hmm. So police, like, told neighboring towns, like, the description of the truck and stuff like that, and just, you know,
God, that sucks.
keep an eye out, I guess. But ultimately they didn't know what had happened.
Right.
So on December 8th, the day before the neighbor had contacted police, Ed Gein had went into Mary's tavern and shot and killed her.
Jesus.
He put her body on a sled and drug it back to his house.
Who is not noticing this?
I just have to imagine it was at nighttime.
You would
Because
have
then
to.
nobody went back in until the next day.
That's
There's an exact time frame, but I'm
insane.
like, okay, well, weird. So that happens.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a lot of, like, what was going on in the meantime.
Yeah.
So, flash forward to November 16th, 1957.
Okay.
So that was 1954, 3 years later.
Okay.
Ed goes into a hardware store owned by Bernice Warden, and he robbed and killed her.
Jesus.
On November 18th, Deputy Sheriff Frank Warden, who was Bernice's son, entered the store, and he saw a puddle of blood. The cash register was empty, and they had a .22 rifle missing. So he looked at the last sales slip Bernice had filled out, and it was for a gallon of antifreeze for Ed Gein. So, like, okay, obviously this had to have been the last person that was in the store, or at least that bought anything.
Yeah.
So, police obviously go to his house to arrest him. They have no other leads, and Bernice isn't there, and there's blood everywhere.
Yeah.
So they go to his farmhouse and arrest him, and then they decide to take a look around, and that is when they find some shit.
I just don't understand why, if you're going to kill this woman anyway, why you would let her fill out a slip with your name on it first. It's not like she filled it out and he's like, actually, I'm going to kill you. I'm sure he went in there like, I'm going to kill you. Why would you first let her write all your information down?
Well, in a few, you'll hear what Ed Gein had to say about it.
Okay. I can't wait.
Okay. So, quick trigger warning. This is very violent and disgusting.
Nice.
So, if you are not into that, you should probably not listen to this. So, when they searched Ed's house, they found just a plethora of things, including body parts, organs, bones, pretty much anywhere. Anywhere and everywhere in his home. He had incorporated it into his life. Bernice Warden's body was found decapitated and hanging from the ceiling.
What?
And they said he had dressed it out like a deer.
Oh, no.
So,
no.
flayed open, her insides out.
Yeah, if you're not... That's a big Midwest thing. If you don't know what I'm talking about,
you don't
Google it. It's
no,
disgusting.
It's terrible. Just terrible. They saw jars full of bones and organs. There was a heart just sitting on the stove.
What?
He had made covers for his furniture made out of skin.
Oh my god, I'm so uncomfortable.
Disgusting. This is what I was reading last night before bed.
Before bed. Some light reading.
Yes. He had used human skulls as bowls. Just casually slurping his soup out of a human skull.
What is wrong?
It's disgusting.
This is not okay.
He had human skulls on the ends of his bedpost.
This motherfucker thinks he's like the Joanna Gaines of the underworld. Like, what is he doing?
This is how Satan decorates his master bedroom.
Satan created him and was like, he's going to do great things for me.
This is it. This is my guy.
That's so
the
sick.
Underworld. Just wait, there's more.
No.
He had a shoebox. Phil was in the office with me when I was doing this research, and I said, what is vulvae?
Vulvae?
It's the plural form of the word vulva.
Oh.
Vagina lips, if you don't know, because I also had to look up
It's not vulvas.
Vulva was.
You had to
No, it's
Google
vulvae.
it.
So like, I know it's something
computer.
with the vagina, I just don't know what it is.
That's so
funny.
funny.
On his gaming computer. So he had a shoebox full of vulvae.
It's so fucking gross.
He had made a doorbell from a human nipple.
What?
Ding dong.
No. I don't like it.
I don't imagine it was functioning.
I was going to say, on the outside of his home.
Not sure where
Can
it
you
was.
imagine the mailman? Like, no. Ed probably didn't get mail for years.
No.
Like, something
I'm
weird
gonna
is
leave this on
happening
this
in
tab.
there.
A nipple.
A nipple.
I'm going to buy a fake one. I feel like it'd be funny now. Enough time has passed, right?
That's so
My
sick.
Amazon Prime person's going to be like, what the fuck?
Like, not
Like,
again.
listen, I ordered it from you. So.
Don't be selling fake nipples.
He had a lampshade made out of skin from a face.
A face?
And then for his, like, blind drawstrings, he had lips.
What?
Yeah, like on the bottom, you know, like on the bottom of your drawstring.
That
It's
is...
a pair of lips.
What is this? For real? What is
real
this?
life. This man was not fucking well.
Super unwell.
Yeah.
The most unwell, I would argue. I don't understand how... You know, whatever. It's not for me to understand at the time.
Different strokes for different
No,
folks.
I'm certain not one person understood.
No. So they found corsets made of skin from women's torsos.
Oh my
And
God.
leggings made from women's leg skin.
What?
Masks made from their faces, obviously.
How much time did this man... I guess all the time. He was
Years.
alone.
He's been doing this for years. He admitted that after his mom died, he dug up her body to make a skin suit that he could wear.
No.
Yeah.
Did he, though?
He did. He would crawl inside of it.
No!
Yes!
I don't like he would just crawl in.
Put it on like a onesie.
Ugh.
Which,
If his brother
the
could...
time and effort,
Does he have a sewing machine?
I don't know the details.
I don't
I'm not
like
sure his strategy in doing this, but he did it.
I don't like it. Oh, fucking gross.
So, in addition to finding Mary and Bernice's bodies, there was a total of 9 more altogether they found, but they're all in different types of mutilation and stages.
Yeah, someone's lips
So
are on the drawstring. And
fucking sweet. There's all these bodies.
Yeah,
we were just looking for one.
just the one.
A lot has happened.
Now we have to piece together this entire decor amongst the missing women in our town. I am disgusted.
So, Ed was arrested on... I had the
hopefully
date in
that
here.
exact same day.
Yes, on November 18th. And he didn't confess until November 19th. So the following day, he admitted to murdering both Mary Hogan and Bernice Warden.
Okay.
But he said he didn't even really remember killing Mary.
Oh, shut up. I hate this
But
argument.
police found Mary's face in a paper bag in his kitchen.
Oh,
So
my God.
he couldn't say that he didn't do it. 'Cause,
Homeboy.
yeah.
What more evidence do you
And
need?
he's like, okay, then I guess I probably did it. I just don't remember
oh,
it.
my God.
Doesn't count if you don't remember it.
Yeah, is that what he's getting at? Like, okay, well, I don't remember, so how are we going to handle this?
Yeah. So, so after that, he's like, okay, also, I like to visit the cemeteries and dig up women's bodies.
No, he does not.
Yes, he said that he at least 40 times has gone to cemeteries to dig up women's bodies.
What?
But not only he chose and like sought out women that were close to his mother's age and kind of looked like her. So their relationship was not appropriate, if you were wondering. He had a sick infatuation with his mother, who abused him.
Yeah, who was a straight up
Like he
jerk.
wanted her to love him, so he extra loved her.
No, you don't have to do all of that.
Yeah, and he would dig up the women's bodies to make skin suits to wear. So then I found I only found one article that claimed this, so I'm not sure of the reliability of it, but that he claimed, I couldn't find anywhere else that it said this, that he claimed from a young age he always kind of struggled with like his sexuality and his gender.
I think I have read this.
So I'm like, he's going to great lengths to.
Was it him who his mom made him dress up like a girl?
I didn't see anything about that.
Okay. I'm pretty sure that happened to Charles Manson, maybe, but I thought it happened to one of the Eds. And I was very surprised when it didn't come up in Ed Kemper, so I thought maybe it was him. But I don't remember.
I didn't see anything about that.
Okay.
It could be.
I don't know
It
either.
could be that I didn't see that, but... So some say that that's kind of why he was doing this. He wanted to feel like a woman.
Yeah.
Who's to say?
Not I.
And he was so confused about what to even think about women or anything. And the only woman really he was allowed to love was his mom.
Right.
Not that gives a reason for any of this.
No.
I'm just, you know.
But it's very confusing when, like, you're a woman and you're telling your son that women are evil. He's like, okay, well, what
are
about
you?
And how did I get here?
Are you the devil?
She's a devil woman.
My mama said women are the devil.
I was
That is
waiting
what I picture.
for a Bobby Boucher quote in it.
Bobby Boucher, girls are the devil.
I'm surprised it took 35 minutes to get there.
You're right.
We did good.
You're right.
Oh.
Waterboy is the tamed version of Ed Gein.
If things had turned out differently.
Thank God for Vicky Valancourt. Okay, so Ed was charged with first-degree murder. And crazy, so he was arrested November 18th. His trial began November 21st.
Damn.
So I'm like, there was not a lot going on in Wisconsin,
not at
apparently.
all. We can get this started right now if you want.
He pled guilty by insanity, or not guilty by insanity.
Okay.
So then he was clinically diagnosed as a schizophrenic and declared mentally unfit to stand trial. So since he is unwell, instead of being sent to prison, he went to the Central State Hospital for the Criminally Insane, which is now known as the Dodge Correctional Institution. Mm-hmm. After almost 10 years, on November 7th, 1968, doctors declared Ed sane enough to stand trial.
Hell yeah. They were checking in like, dude, you're getting your
How you doing today? Yeah, we need to get to the bottom of this and get this done. In Ed's testimony, he said that he had went to the hardware store to buy antifreeze. This is the Bernice Warden.
Okay, yeah. I'm interested to hear what he thought was going to happen here.
But then decided to look at a rifle. He had a bullet in his pocket, and he put it in the gun. Who carries a bullet in their pocket, first of all?
What the hell?
He claims that he was having trouble with it because it was a lot different than the rifle he already owned, and it accidentally discharged and shot Bernice.
No, it did not. Okay, Ed. Whatever.
I mean, that's what he says happened. I also do not believe that.
Can we say liar?
He said that after seeing her blood, he blacked out.
Oh, God, I hate that.
But he remembers dragging her body to his truck that was conveniently parked outside the back door.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, totally normal to park at the back
I'm
door.
I'm not sure. Not sure that I'm buying it was an accident.
Yeah, no, this says premeditation all over it. He had a bullet in his pocket, and he parked at the back door.
Right.
That's all the evidence that I need.
Yeah. Agreed. The trial lasted a week, and then Ed was found guilty by reason of insanity.
Okay.
For the murder of Bernice Warden.
Okay.
He was never tried for the murder of Mary Hogan due to the prohibitive cost of the trial. Oh. Which I looked up, it just means it would literally cost too much. Like, they couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, this is back in the olden days, and it's in Wisconsin, so.
Yeah.
They're like, whatever, let's just get him for what we can.
Right.
And they also never brought charges against him for grave digging, which is sick.
That is sick.
But, they're like, okay, did he really, or, like, where did all these other bodies come from? So to confirm his story, the officials did dig up 2 graves that he said he had been to just to see if he was telling the truth, and apparently that was enough for him, so they never checked the other graves.
No, okay, like, so this dude is
I believe real. You. This is enough. I've seen enough.
I don't need this any longer.
So since Ed had been found of literally being crazy and mentally incapable, they didn't give him the death penalty, so he was sentenced to life in prison, but he went to Mendota State Hospital, and doctors, nurses, and aides there described him as perfectly amiable and docile.
No.
So he was just...
I hate that. When they go to prison, then they act so normal.
Like, are you sure you did this?
Yeah.
Just wait.
What is up?
He rarely required, like, tranquilizers, they said, to keep his mood under control. So he wasn't having, like, these crazy episodes where he was acting like a complete fucking psycho. Though clearly he was. In February 1973, Ed petitioned for a re-examination and release, but it was clearly denied.
Yeah, we're going to go ahead and say no on that.
So one of his doctors, Dr. Thomas J. Maluig, Malueg, wrote a letter on May 16th, 1974. I just think this is funny. Mr. Gein has little insight concerning the possibility that society will remember him and his notoriety, and may continue to respond to him in ways that could be anxiety-provoking. He feels that everyone has forgotten him, and that he will be able to simply walk away from the harassment should it occur. He has some unrealistic plans about going to Australia after being released, although he is not certain about how to arrange his travel plans.
Yeah, I bet.
So he's crazy.
Yes.
He thinks he's going to walk out of here and nobody's going to know who he is.
It's old news.
Old news. Nobody cares.
This happens every day. Things like this happen every day.
There are new serial killers out there. There are new people digging up graves. No one's going to even remember me. And if they did harass me, I'm strong enough to walk away. Also, I'm going to go to Australia, but, like, I don't know how I'm going to get there.
Also, you can't leave the country.
He had a long-term goal here.
He did.
I'm going to get out. I'm going to go to Australia. I'm going to build a new life.
No, I don't think so. No, honey, you're not.
No. So, Ed Gein died on July 26, 1984.
Nice.
He suffered from respiratory failure brought on by stage 3 lung cancer.
Damn.
Probably from breathing in all the fucking formaldehyde from those dead
I'm
bodies.
certain.
He was
good.
77 years old when he died.
God.
So he lived.
A full
he
life.
lived.
A full life.
Half of his life was spent putting on people's faces.
Oh my God.
Ed was buried in Plainfield Cemetery in Wisconsin. And due to the popularity of his case, his gravestone was constantly vandalized, and in 2000 it was stolen. Like, someone straight up took it out of the ground. They're like, actually, fuck this. No. Because can you imagine going to visit, like, a family member or anyone in this cemetery, and there's a serial killer also buried there?
No, I'd want to kick it over.
Mm-hmm.
How funny someone straight up picked it up
You know
out
what?
of the
Fuck
ground and
this.
stole it.
But in June of 2001, they recovered it near Seattle. So it made it pretty fucking far. And now it was returned back to Wisconsin to Washara County and is now in a museum, which that's kind of cool.
That is kind of cool.
I wouldn't mind seeing it.
I don't know why they would mark his grave anyway. No one's alive in his family.
That is interesting. Who buried him? Like, who even...
In a cemetery.
Yeah, I don't know. That's weird.
That is weird.
There was no funeral.
No. He didn't have any family.
No. So Ed Gein became known as the Plainfield Ghoul or the Butcher of Plainfield. And it didn't take long for, like, these stories to get out and people to begin, like, books and movies and things, you know.
This is for real something out of a movie.
This was a screenwriter's dream come true.
100%. Like, I can't even make this shit up.
So there's a lot that came from this.
Oh, yeah.
The book Psycho, written by Robert Bloch or Bloch, Bloch, in 1959.
You know, I didn't know that was a book.
So, me neither. So then the movie, obviously, 1960 by Alfred Hitchcock. So it's kind of confusing on whether Norman Bates is really based off Ed Gein.
Dude, the mother shit.
Right. So Robert only lived 35 miles away from Ed when he had gotten arrested, but he wasn't aware of the case at the time when he had started writing. But he had written, and this is a quote, with the notion that the man next door may be a monster unsuspected. So he says, maybe I didn't know, but maybe, like, part of me did.
Like, maybe he read it somewhere.
So then,
briefly.
By the time Alfred Hitchcock's movie came out, a lot of that had been based off Ed. Also, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre in 1974, the character Leatherface was modeled after Ed. Wow. Because, you know, he liked to wear other people's faces.
Other people's faces.
In Silence of the Lambs, the character Buffalo Bill was based on a combination of serial killers, including Jerry Brudos, Ted Bundy, Gary Heidnik, Ed Kemper, Gary Ridgway, and Ed Gein. So just a whole bunch of evil all wrapped up into one. And then in 2000, a movie was released, and it was titled Ed Gein in the U.S. and Australia, but you can also look it up, and it's known as In the Light of the Moon.
Oh, okay, so it's just completely different.
So, not sure. It closely follows Ed's crimes and life, but it got terrible reviews.
I was gonna say, I've never heard of this.
And it says, like, it's all focused on Ed, but a lot of it is not accurate. So, it didn't go over well.
Yeah.
And then there was another film titled Ed Gein, the Butcher of Plainfield in 2007 that also got terrible reviews. And on IMDb, it scored a 3.7 out of 10.
Oh, my God.
So, apparently you can't do a whole life story of him or it ends terribly, but just a few characteristics wrapped up into one character.
Norman Bates.
Works great.
Fantastic character.
Oh, yeah. Norman Bates is... But, like, isn't it... I never knew that.
This story? Or...
Well, I never knew that Norman Bates was, like...
Based off of someone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, ew, sick.
Gross.
And Leatherface. Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Part of me is like, ugh, that's so fake. Which, I mean, you know, to an extent, but, like, someone really do be walking around with people's faces on it. And it was Ed Gein.
The most unrealistic part of that story is someone wearing someone else's face.
That's it. That's the true part. Yeah, not the getting stranded and murdered by a chainsaw
No.
murderer.
No, that's fake.
It's that he wore his mask, the way he cloaked his identity was wearing other people's faces.
That's so sick.
Yeah.
They did that in, not that, but Bates Motel.
I watched, like, the first... Oh. I don't even think I finished the whole first season.
Oh, my God. It's so good.
And I keep thinking I'm going to retry it. Just because I love the woman that plays his mom and him. They're just really good.
I love them.
Yeah.
It gets so good.
So it made me so uncomfortable, and now I know why, because it is fucking weird.
Yeah, it gets more uncomfortable. I remember watching like the last season and being like, I don't even think I like this. It's creeping me out so much. It's so good. But yeah, that show, like at the end, near the end, with all like the mother stuff, and it's very good. But I can see exactly where that came from now.
Yeah.
That's
a
insane.
weird mom shit. He loved his mom so much.
It's too much. Too much.
I don't like it.
I don't really like it.
So yeah, that is the story of Ed Gein.
Just a little taste for ya.
Just a little something to brighten your moods.
After the election.
Hopefully you don't need this to brighten your mood.
Yeah.
Depending on... I said I wasn't going to talk about it. We're not going to talk about it. I'm not even going to say anything else about it.
That's all I'm going to say about that.
If we ever, like, design... Like, no, we do design merch.
But, like...
You know, if we ever get big enough where people want a catchphrase, that's mine. I'm not going to talk about it anymore. That's all I'm going to say about it.
That's all I'm going to say. That is your thing.
But I really didn't know that much about Ed Gein. I was texting Madison, like, all right, so what are some really fucked up things I can talk about? And then I came across... Well, I was looking up... Because you did Molly. And I'm like, oh, it'd be kind of cool to, like, do someone that there's a movie about. Because then I can just watch a movie. So then I looked up murder movies based on true stories. Ed Gein was the first one.
Oh.
Like, dope.
Nice.
All right. And there's 17 movies that he's in some way or another influenced.
That's so weird.
It is weird. I'm alive and I'm not killing people. Make a movie about me.
What is wrong
It's going to be very boring.
As we sit here and talk about it anyway.
You know what? You're right.
We're the weird ones.
You're right. I spent a lot of time on the clock doing this research, actually. So, you know, whether you guys pay for our Patreon or buy our shit, I'm getting paid one way or another.
Paid for the research. Okay.
All right. That's all I have to say.
That's all you're going to say about that? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if you aren't already subscribed to, like, if you don't subscribe where you get your podcasts, so you get, like, notifications or automatically downloads for you, you're going to want to do that. Because Friday, we have something really exciting coming out that I think you guys are going to love. Because I love it.
I literally almost forgot about that.
I was wondering if you did. I don't know. You just have to stay tuned for Friday. So if you don't subscribe, do it now. Because you're going to want to get these noties.
Yes.
Or just remember to come back
excited.
Friday.
I totally forgot. I'm so excited. So yeah.
We'll see you.
Do what you gotta fucking do.
Friday. For something super new and exciting. But in the meantime, you can find us on Instagram and Facebook at AlmostPod. You can find our Patreon at AlmostPod. No, not at almostpod.com. You can find some merch there. But you can go to patreon.com/almostpod if you want to financially support us in exchange for some great things like this video we're recording that you can watch. Taryn's throwing up some great signs.
You can see my bright pink hair. I'm going through a midlife crisis. I keep doing things. Cut my own bangs, dyed my hair pink. Bought new glasses.
You can email us questions, comments, concerns, suggestions, anything else to almostpod@gmail.com. And if you're listening on iTunes,
please, out of the kindness of your heart, give us a 5-star rating. Write us a lovely review. We're up to 20 now. The last person that left us a review was the nicest review I have ever read. I read it out loud to everybody. I'm like, oh my God, this is so sweet. This is so nice.
Happy.
They said we're unapologetically ourselves, and they couldn't be more right. Because I am this is me.
You're
I'm
gonna
exactly
sing some
where
Camp
I
Rock.
want to be.
I knew.
Gonna let the light shine on me.
Well, Demi Lovato's never gonna date either of us now, and we're probably gonna get sued by Disney.
Whatever. So yeah, do that.
Do that. Come back Friday. Also, let us know if you liked the Molly Bloom thing.
Yeah.
We'll continue to do other weird things like that if you liked it.
Or let
we'll
us
probably
know
do it
if you
anyway.
just really love to talk about gruesome murders and
Yeah,
people
let
making
us know
soup
what you
bowls out of
like.
human skulls. Because
That
there's
sounds
plenty of
sick.
that out there.
Unfortunately, you're not wrong.
Unfortunately for the world, lucky for us.
The content is overflowing.
Okay. So we're going to sign off and do our quick little,
We're going to do something exciting.
our super fun surprise for Franny.
Bye.
Bye.